7 months ago, Jimmie Chris Duncan walked out of the Louisiana State Penitentiary, where he spent nearly 3 decades on death row for a murder that multiple judges now agree never happened.
Your mom passed while you were on death row?
Yeah.
And you weren't even able to go to the funeral?
Oh, I lost a lot of people.
The evidence that condemned Duncan wasn't merely wrong. Lawyers and forensic experts say it was created by a dentist hired by the prosecution.
Turn the lights off.
And it was filmed. This is the recording Duncan's jury never saw. A disturbing video of a discredited technique never before broadcast until now. This is Duncan's first television interview.
People think this stuff doesn't happen.
They're about to find out that it does happen.
She was just a baby.
But before the video, before death row, there was Haley Olivo. She was just 23 months old.
I would dress her in baby doll clothes.
Allison Layton is Haley's mother.
She was still so young. She didn't have time to grow up.
Allison began dating Duncan after splitting up with Haley's dad. On December 18, 1993, Allison left their West Monroe, Louisiana home for work. Duncan stayed home with Haley, who loved to take baths.
She ran to the bathroom, was standing there waiting on me to toss the toys in the tub.
He said he filled the tub with just a few inches of water, then left the 23-month-old toddler playing alone while he cleaned the house.
I heard a sound, a bump. I was afraid it was her head. I hollered, I'm like, Haley, and she didn't answer.
He found her face down and not breathing. Duncan wrapped her in a towel and ran next door. A neighbor began CPR and called 911. Haley was rushed to the hospital. By the time Allison arrived, her daughter was dead.
Everybody's screaming, and Chris is screaming, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leave her alone.
Within hours, Duncan was in an interrogation room. Police taped the interview.
In your own words, if you tell us exactly what happened this morning.
Got up this morning, I fed the baby.
His account has never changed.
I went in there, she was face down in the tub. I jerked her out of the tub, tried to get her to breathe, and I couldn't.
Police believe Duncan had committed a crime and charged him with criminally negligent homicide.
What do you say to people who say, you know what, he left this baby alone in the bathtub, he's kind of responsible for that?
I can't argue with that. It is a failure. I can see that looking back.
That evening, Haley's body was sent not to a Louisiana medical examiner, but to one across state lines in Mississippi named Stephen Hain, who'd been recommended to prosecutors as an excellent witness for the state. Hain claimed he saw possible signs of sexual assault and bite marks. He called in Dr. Michael West, a Mississippi dentist, who asked police for a mold of Duncan's teeth.
And I told him I wasn't cooperating anymore. So that's when they got the search warrant for the dental impressions.
West concluded Duncan's teeth matched the marks. With that finding, the charges were upgraded to first-degree murder.
I couldn't make sense of the world.
In 1998, Duncan stood trial. The key evidence used against him were the alleged bite marks, and prosecutors argued Duncan had raped Haley. It took the jury less than 3 hours to find him guilty. He was sentenced to die.
Well, you believed he was guilty.
They convinced me. Kill him. I thought they should have dropped him in a bucket of water and let me watch him drown.
Duncan had no criminal record. Now he was shipped to death row, branded a child killer and rapist.
How do you not give up in that situation?
I did give up. I was completely suicidal for a long time.
Years became decades. Every appeal failed. Yet the truth had been on video all along. West, the dentist, had recorded his examination of Haley, a tape Duncan's jury never saw. But in 2024, 3 decades after Haley's death, a team of new attorneys, including from the Innocence Project, won Duncan a hearing. The presiding judge was Alvin Sharp, a 30-year veteran of the bench who had no prior role in Duncan's case. Sharp retired earlier this year. This is the first time he's publicly speaking about Duncan's case.
So you hadn't known about the videotape and you hadn't seen it before the hearing started?
I absolutely hadn't seen it. Absolutely hadn't seen it.
Sharp allowed the tape to be played at the hearing. A warning, this video of a dead toddler in a morgue is difficult to watch, so we've concealed some of it.
18 December 1993.
It begins with Haley lying on a table. West is examining her body. Her cheeks are blemish-free.
But is it fair to say that there was no bruising or marking or bite marks on her face at the beginning of that video?
I think that's absolutely fair. The body was not possessed of any markings.
5 minutes in, the camera turns off. The recording resumes the next morning, and now there's a bruise on Haley's cheek. Then, for the next 20 minutes, West is seen pressing the mold of Duncan's teeth into Haley's face and body, roughly 50 times.
As you're sitting on the bench, watching that video, what is going through your mind?
I was aghast. I'm left in a state of consternation, total consternation.
Is it fair to say that Dr. West is manufacturing and creating the evidence on this child's body?
He's absolutely creating marks on that baby's body.
Do you think what you saw by Dr. West on that tape was a crime by him?
It very well could be.
But West has said he wasn't creating any marks, that the tape shows what he calls his direct comparison technique, where he's simply comparing Duncan's dental mold to marks he claimed were already there, marks he says that a layman might not see. There is no scientific support for his method, and it's been discredited by forensic experts. Before trial, Duncan's attorneys asked for the video. The judge, who has since died, watched it privately, then ruled it contained nothing favorable to the defendant, so the jury never knew about it.
How did you feel looking at it?
Insulted and hurt.
Duncan saw the tape for the first time that day in court, more than 30 years after his arrest.
I couldn't believe that all these people knew that that video existed and they still let this happen to me.
Allison was in court too. She could only bear to watch a short clip of the video, but she was furious with what she saw.
I found out my daughter wasn't murdered. It never happened.
The tape wasn't the only evidence not presented to Duncan's jury. The hearing also revealed Haley had a history of seizures and had been rushed to the hospital several times in the months before her death. Months after the hearing, Judge Sharp issued his ruling. He threw out Duncan's conviction, concluding that Haley drowned in the bathtub as a result of a seizure, and found no evidence that Haley had been sexually abused. Allison now believes Duncan was framed.
It's kind of a big deal, I think, that Haley's mom supports the guy that was convicted of killing her.
Well, let's get this straight. He was convicted because they lied. They railroaded this man. They fabricated evidence. They desecrated my daughter and videotaped it.
That disturbing video might never have come to light if it weren't for journalist Radley Balco.
I start watching the video and immediately I'm floored.
Balco got his hands on the tape 2 decades ago. Back then he wrote an article about it, but says no one seemed to care.
I'm waiting for the fallout. I'm waiting for, I don't know, the Attorney General in Louisiana to say something about it, and nothing happens.
Balco continued to investigate Hain and West, co-authoring a book about their work.
How many cases do you know factually where Dr. West and Dr. Hain's findings helped send an innocent person to prison?
We've had 11 exonerations now
11
of people who either were convicted or arrested and spent a lot of time in jail.
He says Hain, the medical examiner, wasn't even properly certified.
The American Board of Pathology is really the only accepted board that certifies you. Hain took their exam and failed it.
Hain and West have worked on thousands of cases together. An example, in 2 other Mississippi homicides, their work helped convict 2 men of raping and murdering young girls. Both men spent decades in prison, but were later exonerated after DNA evidence identified the real perpetrator, who confessed to both crimes. Once again, a videotape shows West pressing an innocent man's dental mold into the victims' bodies.
Why would they videotape themselves doing that?
I think they were advertising. They were recording themselves doing these forensic exams and using that video as like, here are our services, like here, here's what we do.
Balco says prosecutors across the South hired West and Hain as experts to help secure convictions. Hain defended his work until his death in 2020. West didn't reply to our requests for comment, but in a 2012 deposition in a different case said he no longer believed in the uniqueness of human bite marks, and they're not reliable enough to be used in court. Last November, Judge Sharp granted Duncan bond and he walked free. But his ordeal wasn't over.
We have some unpredictable people who need to cover their tracks.
The Ouachita Parish District Attorney's Office appealed the innocence ruling, asking Louisiana's highest court to send Duncan back to death row. The district attorney is Steve Tu, who at the time of Duncan's trial was a prosecutor in the same office. We called, emailed, and stopped by to speak with Tu, but he declined to talk with us. In court, the DA argued that Duncan was still guilty.
We don't need the bite mark evidence to put Mr. Duncan in this apartment along with this child.
Last month, the Louisiana Supreme Court ruled in Duncan's favor, upholding Judge Sharp's factual innocence finding.
It's been just over 24 hours since the Louisiana Supreme Court ruled in your case. How are you feeling?
Better. Less stressed. I'm curious to know what kind of things to expect out of the government next.
The vote was unanimous, 7-0, and you're still worried that it's not over.
32 years of experience tells me that I should worry.
He was right. DA 2 recently said he intends to prosecute Duncan again for Haley's death. Duncan no longer fears being executed, but freedom can't return what was taken from him.
The person that got locked up ain't here no more.
Sounds like a part of you did die.
Yeah, absolutely.
What remains is an unknown future, and the little girl who never got one.
Do you still carry Haley with you?
Yeah, always. I know an angel.
NBC's Dan Slepian joins us now. Dan, what an incredible job on this investigation. And you've been covering these types of stories for a long time. This is just outrageous, right, that this could happen.
Yeah, Tom, hi, how you doing? Yes, I have covered countless stories over the years that are painful, unsettling, sometimes almost impossible to believe. But when this video showed up in my mailbox a couple of months ago, I was floored. I couldn't believe it. I mean, you hear about stuff like this happening, but rarely do you actually see it on videotape.
Can he get any kind of compensation, Dan?
He hasn't. As for compensation, you know, even though he's exonerated, he still needs to file a separate civil lawsuit. And that's going to take time. It's likely will face legal challenges. And even if he is awarded compensation, according to Louisiana law, the most that he can receive for those 3 decades stolen from him on death row is $480,000.
Oh, Dan Slepian, as always, phenomenal work, and thank you. Dan Slepian in New York.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.